Europe needs to wake the fuck up. The fate of the continent is at stake. I know Europe is an old man at this point, barely struggling to hold on to life. But this old man needs to take some steroids or something and start training again, bring back those muscle memories of the last 500 centuries. I mean the last 5 centuries. Europe is now in a very bad position, and urgent action and initiative needs to be taken. This old man needs to wake up and get some goddamn balls. American support for the continent is no longer guaranteed. It's time that Europeans take responsibility for their own defense, and the defense of the whole continent. Some very difficult decisions are needed. Russian aggression is a real threat and it needs to be taken seriously. Russia is in a war-footing economy. They are spending 30% of their GDP on the military, and Europe can't even do 3%. Wake the fuck up. Europe's economy is 10 times larger than Russia's. Just 5% would be enough to outpace the Russians by so much, and this should be done this year. Not in 3 years, not in 5 years, not in 10 years. It should be done now. This will require sacrifices. What each individual nation in Europe wants to sacrifice will be up to them. I would suggest ways to cut wasteful spending, maybe set climate change plans on hold, or redo humanitarian support to the rest of the world. Maybe it even needs to come at expense of some welfare. But what is more important than the survival of our nations and the collective security of our lives? If this is not done, there is a real chance that in the not so distant future, Russia will come back, and they will come back with a vengeance. Right now, Russia's military is way bigger than all of Europe's combined. They are not as technologically sophisticated, but raw manpower and will can do a lot of damage. And now that it seems like America will stop supporting Ukraine with arms, this is a new task that Europe needs to take on. Europe can support Ukraine enough to push the Russians out if it has the will to do so. That's why Europe needs to get its balls and needs to actually do something productive for a change. They need to make initiative and make hard decisions. And they need to get creative. Even if Europe itself doesn't have the stockpiles right now, it needs to ramp up production so it gets the stockpile in not so distant future. And it can also get stockpiles from other places to support Ukraine here and now where it is needed. This will be a turning point in history. What happens now this year. So wake the fuck up and do the correct decisions, the decisions that are needed.